Now it's time for the Wednesday Wrangle with commentator Liz Storer and columnist Justin Smith. Love catching up with these guys every Wednesday. I've got to get your off the top of your head assessments first up of Scott Morrison's attempt to explain his many hats. You go first, Liz.
Tell you what, for me, and I think many Australians, it's not the fact that he did this, it's the fact that he did it in secrecy. We pay these people, they work for us, and we've just found out an employee has been giving himself several promotions, cloak and dagger style. I mean, the secrecy is what's really getting to people. Why couldn't you make this public? We're all familiar with the fact it was unprecedented times. We've exhausted that word over the last 2 years. But here we have a situation where his nearest and dearest, his own deputy leader, Frydenberg, if he can be believed, had no idea that he had this co-treasurer. Cormann had no idea he was sharing his finance portfolio. And the excuses that Morrison has given, I'm sorry, are absolutely piss weak, because if this was, as he said, just to ensure that all bases were covered in the event of this or that, why didn't you just make it public? Why didn't you get a few ministers to co-swear in with each other so that the bases would be covered, instead of giving all 5 to yourself in secrecy? I'm sorry, does not pass the pub test whatsoever.
Hard to disagree with your logic there, Liz. I mean, Justin, here's the point. If that's truly the motivation behind this, you would have thought one of the things you'd definitely do is at least tell Cabinet. You're telling them about these emergency arrangements so that everyone knows about them.
Cabinet? What do you mean, that big table where all the people sit and make decisions in Australia were left completely in the dark?
No, I'm talking about Scott Morrison sitting in an armchair on his own. He was the Cabinet, apparently.
Yeah. He was, absolutely. Look, I'm shocked but not surprised. But I guess I would say congratulations, Australia, for getting rid of this egomaniacal shonk. But those of us who've been against Morrison believe that he's been like this for years. I mean, he stood up at that sham of a press conference today, and it was only a sham from his point. I thought the media did incredibly well, filled our ears full of crap. And the reasons for doing it and for keeping it secret were just childish and ridiculous. He blamed the media, he blamed the opposition, he blamed pressure. Let's not forget that we've had prime ministers that have sent troops overseas. We have gone to some pretty big wars and we've had some pretty awful times, and none of them have ever stooped to any of this kind of rubbish. How he can remain in Parliament is beyond me. I think that the opposition, the Liberal Party, should be pushing like hell for a by-election immediately and get rid of him as soon as possible. He can't be sitting in there. The longer that they let him sit in there, the more they're saying, hey, we're kind of okay with this kind of thing, you know, as long as we can get away with it. They've got to make a stand right now. Dutton's got to make a stand right now.
Yeah, it's pretty tough for Peter Dutton. What a steaming pile to land in his lap when he's just trying to get started as opposition leader. Oh, yeah. Here's a little bit more of Scott Morrison today, and I thought it was a little bit unbecoming because he was trying to portray himself really as a victim in all of this.
So, together with my colleagues, we did save lives, we did save livelihoods, and we did so in a way that, as I've moved around the world since the election, is recognised. And there will come a time here, I suppose, it will be maybe recognised also, but that is not my purpose today.
Yeah, well, Justin, you know, I think he went. I think he went over the top in pandemic management, as you know. But I mean, no one could disagree with the fact that Australia came through the pandemic in better shape than most countries. That should be a legacy of his. But this can only serve to undermine that.
Oh, look, the man is a child, and you're right. Any good work that he may have done has now been and should be completely unravelled. And I think that in the future, if we're ever looking, if this country is ever looking at appointing him to anything or having him in any kind of role on the world stage, we just need to replay that press conference in our head and just realise what is at the heart of this guy. And at the heart of it is just a little picture of himself. Again, in that armchair that you're talking about. It's all about him.
Let's have a look at what another former Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, has had to say about this overnight in London.
It does seem unusual. It does seem unorthodox. And it does seem strange that at least some of the ministers didn't know about it.
Unusual and unorthodox, Liz, and strange that some of the ministers didn't know about it. That's an understatement.
It's very, very gracious of Tones there. But what I haven't seen any commentary on, Chris, and I'd love to know, correct me if I'm wrong, is we all know that each minister gets paid more for each portfolio he takes on. Fair enough. More responsibility, more pay. It works the same in the corporate world. Was Morrison then paid for each of these five portfolios?
No, he wasn't.
Okay,
that has been addressed.
To know. That's a relief to know. But also, we can't let the Governor-General off the hook here. What is the use of a Governor-General if he just does what he's told to do by the PM of the day?
Because that's our system.
Because cloak and dagger. No.
That's our system. That's all he's supposed to do, sign the paperwork.
Here. He was the one safeguard
We should fix that.
He was supposed to. There's supposed to be some checks and balances. That's the one good thing.
What, you reckon he should have knocked back the PM?
Constitutional monarchy. There's questions that can be asked. Why are we doing this in secret, etc., and so on? Because now the Governor-General, David Hurley, has been absolutely dragged into this, and people are baying for his blood too, and rightly so.
I don't think so. I think he does the appointment as he would do all the time when there's changing ministerial arrangements. It's not up to him to ask, well, are you going to tell Josh Frydenberg? Have you told Matthias Cormann? He wouldn't know. Maybe Justin, the Governor-General, ought to have announced all his paperwork on Twitter in this day and age so we all know in real time.
He would have known that this was highly unusual, as Tones put it.
He might have suspected that.
Yeah, that's right. The GG can say, listen, if you want to know more, just check out my TikTok and you'll get all the details there about what is going on in the country. I think you're right.
Exactly
I think the GG's put out a statement, hasn't he, saying that he had no reason to believe that it was going to be kept secret. I think he stuck Morrison right in it, and good on him for doing it.